Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome back, TGIF. Our last show of the week, our last show of the day. And you know what? I love our musical guests. Super excited to have Marissa Lamar and Neil Briggs, and they're known as Highland Kites on the show. They're going to perform. We're going to talk about how you can heal through art. They've got a great journey to share. So we're all very excited. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you today?
Thank you. We're doing great.
Yeah, doing great.
Love the background. I said it before we went live. I love that background. I'm embarrassed by mine. You guys look awesome. That's what a background should look like when you're doing a show. All right, so we talked before we went live. The audience loves origin story. They want to know about each of you individually and then how you came together. They love to know what motivated you, and we'll take a deep dive into that. But let's start with the basic 411 on each of you. And of course, ladies first, we'll start with you, Marissa.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, my story is kind of interesting. I didn't actually find music until I was 26 or so.
Wow.
So yeah, I was doing other things in life. I'd always been a writer just for fun, you know, writing poems, writing little short stories. So I had books and books of that, but I never really thought I was going to be an artist, to be honest. And then
26 is actually late from any other story I've heard. That's amazing. You didn't sing before, play in the choir, had any interest? Wow, that is an interesting story.
Yeah, it was a pivot for sure, like a very hard right.
That's a shift. I mean, most people that come on the show that are musicians or artists, they knew in the beginning. You know, you get that story of since I was 4 years old, and maybe that's what Neil's going to share. So I'm not trying to take your sunshine, Neil, but that's usually what you hear. Is I was 4 years old and I knew then I was going to be a musician and an artist. I'm like, I think I was eating sand or dirt at 4 years old. So 26 is interesting. So what was the pivot for you? How did you discover that?
Okay, so I always had sort of buried deep inside me the desire to perform and to be an artist. It always had been there. But my life just sort of took a different path. And it wasn't a bad path, it just was different. So I actually ended up getting really sick. I got Lyme disease, which
sorry.
Yeah, it was weird, and it kind of progressed really far because at the time I got it, it wasn't really known about that much, so it didn't get diagnosed for many years. So I ended up actually like almost dying, and I was bedridden for a long time. Yeah, it was a crazy time, and it just like shifted my view on life. And as I was lying there, like, okay, if I get better, what am I going to do with myself? Because my whole life prior to this is sort of over. Like I don't have the job I had. I don't really have all the friends I had. I've been kind of secluded in this bubble of trying to get better for so long. And I was like, you know, I have always leaned on art and music so heavily as a kid. I've been a music fan for so long, since I was a little girl, like just to the point of obsession, like crying over songs and just loving music so much. And, you know, when I was sick, it really was what I leaned on was my favorite artists and the people that I loved. And it just made me feel better and hopeful. So I kind of just decided at that time, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to give people, is that hope and that sort of relief that you get from your favorite music.
But if you've never, I've got a question for you that's a little funny, but really, I'd love to know the answer. If you never really performed before, how did you know you weren't not meant to be on stage, or that you were meant to be on stage?
I probably wasn't in the beginning, honestly. I look back at some of the videos and I was like, wow, that was like sheer like boldness, you know?
I love it.
You almost have to have this horrible sense of confidence that makes you jump into something really quickly. And that's what I did. I started learning piano as I was recovering. One of my friends, his name's Teague, he's amazing. He's in LA. He started coming over and kind of teaching me piano. And that was my first thing. Within 6 months, I was feeling a lot better. I did a solo show. And then we ended up hooking up with a guitar player. Also, that kind of helped at the time. And I just did a show.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so it was it was crazy. I look back on it and I'm like, would I have that confidence to do that now? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I love that though, because there's certain times in your life it was meant to be. All the forces came together. No job, you were sick. I mean, it was all pushing you, in my opinion, into that direction, which is really cool. If Neil, you tell me you were 80 when you just realized and pick up a guitar or a music and you never sang before, I might not know what to do. What's your story?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I've been playing music for a long time. You know, I think the first time I ever performed was actually when I was visiting Disneyland, and there was like a Beatles mockery where kids were wearing wigs and stuff and banging on instruments. And that was where I started, actually. And, you know, I took music at school, and I've been playing for years. And I, too, I'm not trying to steal Marissa's story, but I, too, was very, very sick, and I almost died. And similar disease.
Wow.
And after that, I just got back into music, and I've never stopped. And just, you know, and then we met through a mutual friend, and we hit it off. And, you know, my wife thinks that Marissa and I are musical soulmates, which is very nice for her to say. But we've just kind of clicked ever since then, even though we have such varied backgrounds. But we both love music, and
it all came together.
It all came together. I was there at the beginning when Marissa first started performing, so we've been going ever since. Almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
Tell us about the name. We have lots of questions about the name, Highland Kites.
Okay, so it really was an I don't know, actually. There was a cross street when I was growing up called Highland in LA. And that was the street that all my friends and I kind of converged on to get into something, you know? It's like, let's go on an adventure. Meeting on Highland, you know, it was like a thing that we had growing up. So it sort of was just this childhood adventure kind of feeling. And then the kites, I just had, you know, so many happy memories flying kites with my dad at the beach as a kid.
Oh.
And so it just was this, yeah, the name, our music can be, it's like journal entry. So it can be dark. It can be hopeful. There's a lot of emotion in it. And I wanted the name to feel fresh and like hope, you know, like we can come back to that childhood sort of.
Well, when you think of a kite, you think of childhood and it's free and flying. And yeah, there's a lot of positive images and feelings that come when you say kite.
Yeah.
So tell us about your music. You started to talk about that. What genre would you consider yourself? Or are you just multi-genre?
I kind of feel it's multi-genre. It's really hard for me to, I don't know, both of us, we've had trouble. People have called it indie rock, indie like dream folk, a mix of Radiohead and Magic Star, like just so many comparisons. I would say it's like a dreamy indie rock when we're playing full band. Yeah.
And then how do you two, it's always interesting to me for a partnership when you're in anything, but certainly music. What roles do you take? Is one person the primary songwriter? Do you collaborate on everything? One of you plays a specific instrument, one sings a certain part. How did you decide how that relationship within the group was going to work?
I don't know. It kind of just flowed the way it did. I've always been like, the way we write is I'll write a song, like the bare bones of a song, and then I bring it to Neil and we just keep building on the song together. So he'll add, obviously he's a drummer, so he'll add drum parts, but we also sample into the roll-in. So we'll add synthesizers and texture, and he plays bass pads. So we'll add, you know, we just keep building and building and building until the song feels done. So it's sort of an easy flow, I guess. Like we just sort of do it that way.
Do you all get emotional when you sing the songs that you've written? Especially, most people write songs, there's something that's inspired them or motivated them, or it's a memory. When you all are performing that and it's your baby, do you get emotional at it? Do you let yourself go back there?
Definitely. For me, at least. I don't know about.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
for sure.
I definitely do. I've had a couple shows where I feel more that way when I'm also connecting with an audience live.
Yeah.
I feel like live music is this really spiritual thing, and you can feel everybody's energy. So when the audience is connecting, you feel that kind of energy, I get super emotional because it's like, it's crazy.
Especially when you see someone reacting and emoting and feeling it from the stage. It's great. It's life-changing. It's amazing, because then you realize that everything that you're pouring out actually touched somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is awesome.
It's really special. It's weird because as an artist, you don't want to get into it to impress other people, but you want to touch other people. You want to be able to help someone. That really has always been our goal, is like, we just want to help people with
healing
art.
through art.
Yeah. So
all right, so what's the first thing you're going to sing for us?
Okay, so the first thing we want to start off with is the song that isn't released yet, that is coming out on the 21st of April. So we wanted to do a little stripped down version of that. It's called Long Road.
Long Road. All right, so Highland Kites, guys. Take your time. Let me take myself off and put you front and center.
Can we see Neil?
Hold on.
Okay.
You can't see me, but I can see you.
Okay, there we are.
Okay. We're ready.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Sure.
Right. I'm ready.
How did it take so long to know where it all went wrong? So slowly, you said my greatest strength is my biggest flaw. How deeply I love everyone. Just tough enough is what you told me. Sweetly, you broke my hopeful heart. Held up the pieces like some modern art. Why did I cling to you so fully? In retrospect, I should have left with the fire on. But embers burn out slowly. You said my greatest strength is my biggest flaw. How deeply I love everyone will be done to let of me. The moment I believe you, I lost myself completely. It's been a long road back to me. It's been a long road back to me. It's been a long road back to me. It's been a long road back to me, 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 back to me.
I loved it. I have to ask before I comment about what the vocals reminded me of. What are you playing, Neil?
I'm playing. It's sample pad, and it has different sounds in it, and then I have a little keyboard as well.
As soon as you started playing, we had a whole bunch of people go, "What is that?" So I loved it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's like drums, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then the sound, I love the sound. Your voice is beautiful. I thought Cranberries. I was going back, you know, just when you said, of course, indie rock, I think of Cranberries, but got that really good tone to it. I'm not trying to sound like Paula Abdul, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, Cranberries a lot, so.
Yeah, the tone is so, the quality is just awesome. You have a beautiful voice, beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Right. Love that song, Long Road. Is that about a relationship?
No.
No.
I mean, it is. It is in a way. It's sort of, it's weird. I had been stuck on writing for a while, and I had this moment where my entire life and all the weird stuff that had happened within the last like 5 years just like culminated into this rapid like lyric writing. And that's kind of what that song was. It was like a vent, which is why it doesn't have a very intense structure or anything. It's more like a poem.
It felt like a poem, but a really great poem. Yeah.
That's what it was. And it just was the release of realizing who I was again, basically. Breaking away from that. Yeah.
The Long Road. All right. What's next? Tell us.
Okay, so this one, it's funny. Anytime we get interviewed, most times people are like, well, what's your favorite song that you've ever written? And it's really hard to answer because
that's hard because those are your babies. I try not to ask that question because they're all your children in some way, shape, or form.
It's like all your kids are standing there. Who's your favorite?
You got to pick one. No.
But I always come back to this one because I wrote that at a time in my life where I was kind of gaining strength back physically and mentally. And it was so personal to write that I actually almost scratched it. And on this like moment of bravery, I played it for Neil. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to play this for you. You probably won't like it. It's weird. And he listened to it and he was like, no, like, don't scratch it. Like, I love it. So it ended up being the song that we play. People request the most when we play live, and
isn't that awesome?
It's amazing. We always close our set with it, and it just means a lot to both of us. So, yeah.
All right, awesome. What's the name of it again?
I'm Not Weak.
I'm Not Weak. Awesome.
Wait.
Yes.
It's always late at night when these thoughts, they seem to culminate. They almost make sense in my dreamlike state. The words are so loud, they're so loud in my brain. They scream, if I loved you less, I'd be okay. But you knew it. All I know is forgive your flaws. Oh yeah, you knew it. That I can't help myself at all. Not at all. I finally realized that it's okay to break. I finally realized that it's okay to not feel it. I finally realized that I'm not weak for always forgiving. That I'm not weak. As I walk away, I curse the whole universe for not splitting love in perfect half so we're equally hurt. Curse myself for heavy thinking, feeling all this pain. 1,000 deaths deep-seated in my brain, in my but she knew it. All I'd ever done is forgive your flaws. Oh yeah, you knew it. That I can't help myself at all, not at all. Finally realized that it's okay. Finally realized that it's okay not to. Finally realized that I'm not weak for always. That I'm not weak. I know who I am and it's okay. I love you as you walk around who you are. And I pray you'll find that person someday. I know who I am. It's okay. I love you as you walk around who you are. And I pray you'll find that person someday. No, I'm not weak. No, I'm not weak. No, I'm not weak. 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 No, I'm not weak.
Woo. Okay, I loved that song a lot. I love the interaction. I don't know if you guys can see me when I'm moving along. I'm sorry if you can. The audience can't. I love the beat of that. Is that even something young people say like you? I loved the, I don't know. I just felt like an upbeat journal entry.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're given a message. But I love it. And the whole time I'm listening to the words, I'm thinking, this is definitely a journal entry. Like you're having a conversation or you're speaking to the world, and who knows who's listening. So dear journal or dear diary. I don't know. I thought it was awesome. I love the message too. I'm not weak.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's
Thank
really
you.
good stuff.
It's the closing track on an EP we released a couple, 3-4 years ago.
Awesome.
It was kind of the theme of the whole, it's how we like wrapped up the whole story.
Oh, that's what you want. A song like that speaks to a lot of people, which is awesome. All right, tell them how they can get your music, how they find more about you, your dates, if you're performing. What's the best way for them to reach out and learn more about Highland Kites?
What is the best way? Well, we have a website, highlandkites.com, which has on there like our mailing list. Our mailing list is kind of fun because I send out, sometimes I'll like sneak out these rough demos of songs that we haven't produced yet just for the mailing list numbers. So if you like that behind the scenes kind of thing, mailing list is fun. And then otherwise, we are on social media. We're on Instagram more than anything. We don't really go on Facebook or Twitter that much, but Instagram, I'm always posting our shows, our releases, behind the scenes, all that stuff. So
fantastic. All right. Yeah. So Instagram, of course, I tagged you, I think, on Facebook, but you can find them through me if you can't find them. Instagram for sure, or highlandkites.com. I'm sure you can reach out to them there. That was so awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I loved it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely love it. Come back anytime you got a new release or something you want to perform. I could listen to you guys all day long. It's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Yes. You too.
Support our local artists. Support our artists. 2020 was a crazy year. Let's make 2021 better for them. So get out and support them. Download their stuff. Buy their stuff. Go to their concerts. And watch them live on their pages. It all helps. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Have a good one. Thank you.